Hey guys, Modelling Weekly here, and welcome to the RNLI College in Poole. Today's video is a bit of a unique one, featuring a style of video that isn't often featured on the channel. On the 19th of June this year, Airfix and the RNLI invited myself, along with a handful of other YouTubers, down to a press day at the RNLI College in Poole, where we were lucky enough to gain early access to Airfix's upcoming 172 scale Shannon class Lifeboat kit, as well as an amazing tour of the facilities used by the RNLI down in Poole, which includes the factory where all the Shannon class lifeboats are actually built. This part will come later on in the video, so for now let's get into the box and check out what this kit has to offer. I really hope you guys enjoy this one. Taking a look at the box, it's immediately obvious that the kit is indeed a starter set, and as a result there are some minor simplifications. However, you'll see very soon that the plastic still packs a very strong punch regardless. The more avid modelers amongst you will want to make slight modifications here and there, but for any beginners, the kit is perfectly acceptable and features all the things you'll need. The kit's painting instructions are of course featured on the back of the box, featuring Humbrol paint colour callouts as per usual. I'll talk more about this later, but there are some lacquer alternatives coming very soon to the UK market, which I learnt about from fellow YouTuber Moz6510 Models. Right, let's check out this plastic. The kit features 52 parts, which is quite a few for an Airfix starter set, so that's pretty nice to see. The moulding quality of this dark grey styrene is also very respectable, featuring a slight texture that should disappear after a couple of coats of paint. I suspect this is added to improve paint adhesion for the brush painters out there. There are of course simplified details as I mentioned earlier, however this is only really noticeable with the interior, which is all moulded onto the deck as one piece. Everything else is pretty much accurate. All these major parts are very sturdy and pretty thick, so the kit should go together to form a very rigid, sturdy structure that won't be breaking anytime soon. The wheelhouse is an aspect of the kit I was very excited to check out in particular. During the press day, we discovered that it's actually a single slide moulded piece, meaning there will be no complicated assemblies required to put this thing together. The detail featured on this part is actually fantastic, and pretty much identical to the real thing, so huge kudos to the designers for this element. I was, however, slightly disappointed to see that my wheelhouse was slightly warped and basically unusable, so I will have to contact Airfix for a replacement in this case. It's not great to see this in a brand new kit, but not a huge deal at the same time. Just be aware of this if you come to build one yourself. The rest of the parts, however, were absolutely fantastic. As you'd expect, there's absolutely no flash featured anywhere on the kit, and mould lines are at an absolute minimum. I have to say, I wasn't expecting much in terms of fine detail in this kit due to it being a starter set. However, I was pleasantly surprised to see some pretty lovely grille and vent details, along with the railings that seemed pretty in scale to me. I measured their thickness with my calipers, and they scale up to be about 72mm in diameter in real life, which isn't bad considering the actual thing is 50mm in diameter. It could be a lot worse. As you saw earlier, the kit is a full hull model, meaning it of course comes with a stand to display it upright. It's not just any stand, however, as Airfix decided to model it to look like the actual structure that the boat sits in when being built and transported. This is a nice little touch and a great attention to detail. You can see a few more of the lovely details featured in the kit here. It's honestly some very good stuff. Onto the clear parts next, which are just as nicely moulded as the rest of the kit. They're not too thick, and they feature crystal clear panes with no scratches. They've also been designed to require very little glue to fix them in place. The windshield for the exterior helm position features a tab for applying glue, whilst the wheelhouse windows actually snap into place without any glue at all. This sounds like a fantastic approach to it, so I'm excited to try this out when I build the kit. Alongside the standard kit parts, we of course get 2 relatively nice Humbrol brushes, as well as the infamous Humbrol paints, which I made sure to check one by one. Luckily, all of these paints turned out to be fine, with the gunmetal being the dodgiest. It was still wet, but very lumpy and pretty thick, so I wouldn't really recommend using it if you have the same issue. As I mentioned earlier, however, there will soon be an alternative range of RNLI colours that you can use on this kit, and they are produced by Outlaw Paints. I've heard very good things about these acrylic lacquers, and Moz Models was kind enough to offer to send some over to me, so I'll definitely give them a try very soon and get some content published on them. For the beginners out there, however, these particular Humbrol paints are thankfully very usable. Onto the decals now, which are of course printed by Cartograph as per usual. They're super well registered, and I know it's a bit hard to see the white ones on camera, but you do get everything you need on this single sheet. The sheet does, however, only feature markings for one of the Shannon class lifeboats, so as a result, Airfix released a secondary decal sheet that you can buy alongside the main kit, featuring numbers and nameplates for the first 50 Shannon class lifeboats in service. This of course will be out of date pretty soon, and I think it already is, as they've built 52, as the RNLI are still producing the Shannon class lifeboats at a rate of 6 per year. However, it does open up a much bigger range of possibilities for the modeler and allows for better customization. It's quite expensive at an RRP of £10 in the UK, however if you really want to model a particular boat, then I reckon it's worth it. Just like the main decal sheet, this additional sheet is perfectly registered and manufactured by Cartograph with great colours. Back to the kit contents now, we have the last thing featured in the box, which is of course the instruction booklet. You also get a handy before you start guide sheet, which is perfect for any beginners giving this kit a go. The instructions themselves are also very clear, featuring a full colour layout, along with a picture of the sprue at every single stage, showing you where the parts are and which parts you will need. It's all very good to see this. So that wraps up the pre-release preview section of this video. It seems like a very promising kit, and despite the quality control issues that could arise, I'd say that Airfix have done a fantastic job on this one. Let me know what you guys think down below. Now, on to the even more exciting part. As I mentioned at the start of the video, we were lucky enough to gain exclusive access into the Shannon class lifeboat factory as part of our press day. So let's now take a look inside the buildings and check out how the real thing is built. Our guide for this experience was the head of engineering for the Shannon production line, who had a wealth of information that he was telling us about the process. Essentially, it all starts here, with the fabrication of the wheelhouse and the hull using fiberglass molds. These big recessed areas in the factory floor are actually ovens, where layers upon layers of fiberglass and resin can be laid up and then baked until the whole structure is rock solid. Other molded fiberglass components are also created at this stage in the process, and it's worth noting that here, the molds are designed to be as simple as possible. This means that recesses and holes are drilled out after the component has been made, as introducing these as part of the mold could be incredibly difficult. Ease of manufacture is the key to this production line, and another example of this being that the wheelhouse is molded upside down, which makes the layup process a lot easier. Here's a few more of the molds that we were shown round. I may be wrong, but I believe the green layer is there to protect the mold itself, as it is removed once the component has been set and extracted. This is one of the procedures that ensures the mold will last throughout the entire lifeboat production life. We then moved on to the next stage in the process, where the completed molds are refined by drilling out any holes, filling any imperfections, and generally preparing them for the installation of equipment and the final construction stages. As with the initial casting stage, the wheelhouse and hull pieces were kept separate throughout, in order to simplify it all as much as possible. Our guide talked about the importance of accuracy at this stage, as any improperly drilled holes or recesses could potentially signal the end of the casting, as that particular area could not be re-drilled, as it would then be too weak. A range of laser and spirit levels are used to ensure accuracy throughout these procedures. You can really see the precision that goes into these boats at this stage, and it's no wonder that they're some of the best in the world. The commitment and hard work was amazing to see from everyone involved in their construction. Truly incredible stuff. Following the casting and finishing stages, we moved into the second half of the factory, where the lifeboats are fitted with all of their electronics, power systems, and instruments that they require to function correctly. This also involves the installation of windows, ladders, railings, and countless other crucial elements. I should also quickly mention that before entering this room, the hull and wheelhouse are both fully sprayed up. However, we unfortunately couldn't access the spray rooms for insurance reasons. This isn't a huge deal, however, as this final assembly room was very impressive nonetheless. It was amazing to see how many electrical systems there were underneath the deck, not to mention the amount of different fittings required to fix it all together. That storage facility is a level of organisation that us modelers can only dream of. This section of the factory is also where older lifeboats are retrofitted with newer tech, which is perfectly demonstrated by the pair of 7 class lifeboats in the middle of an overhaul process. Overall, it was an amazing experience being able to see this all firsthand, and I send my utmost gratitude out to the RNLI for setting this tour up for us. We moved out to the quayside later on in the tour of the college, where we could see a couple of Shannon classes sitting out in the water, including the latest to be launched, 1352. Overall, it was a fantastic day and super interesting in all aspects. Thanks so much to the RNLI and Airfix for making it all happen. Well, that pretty much sums up this video. I know it's been a bit of a unique one, however I hope you all found it relatively interesting nonetheless. I'm personally really excited by the Shannon class lifeboat kit, and you can be sure that I'll get a build out for that as soon as possible, and maybe even a water diorama to go with it. It's definitely got a lot of potential. The kit should be available from the Airfix website and other retailers at some point next week. However, I haven't been told an exact date, so that's pretty much all I can tell you. What I do know, however, is that for every kit, a portion is donated directly to the RNLI, so it's all in support of the fantastic charity that they are. I'd like to thank them and Airfix once again for the fantastic day that they planned out for us. It was absolutely brilliant. I'd also like to send out a massive thanks to all of my amazing channel members here on YouTube. Your support is incredible and genuinely helps to keep the channel alive. I really can't thank you all enough. If you're interested in pledging your support, feel free to click the link down below for more info. Perks include early access to all of my new videos, as well as build updates, members-only videos, and a plethora of other perks. So as you can see, I try my best to make it worthwhile for you guys. If you'd like to pledge your support to the RNLI as well, I've included a link to their website down below. With that said, I'd like to say a massive thanks to you all for watching, and I'll hope to see you next time. Keep on modelling, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!